What a wonderful film. I really, really enjoyed this. I have to say I don't really follow sports, so I didn't know the full in-depth story on the Williams family. So it was really interesting to learn about it. A lot of this was the first time for me. I didn't understand to the extent in which they were breaking a racial barrier in tennis, and to see that played out in this documentary was quite astounding. um, you know, uh, the whole thing with what happened in Indian Wells, and then coming back, all those years later, and I didn't know about any of that. This was really astounding to me. That besides being some of the greatest athletes that have ever lived, the Williams sisters and their parents, they had to do so much work in breaking ground in defeating discrimination, in addition to being the greatest athletes in the world. So, that's just, breathtaking. It was amazing to see. This is really beautifully done film. It was, it was well edited and paced, and the story was told in a very, very, easy to understand manner. It was just really well done. And everybody was great on camera. The clips they chose, the interviews went all very nicely. It was just really well done. So great job on this. I hope it gets out there and gets seen, because it's a great story and needs to be seen.
I really like the Richard Williams story. I think this, I always say the strength of a documentary rises and dies on the subject matter, and this subject matter was endlessly fascinating. There's a reason why Will Smith won an Oscar for playing this man. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the story, 20 something years in the making, 30, 40 years in the making, is compelling. It is inherently compelling, and I think you told it well. And and is ESPN ready, honestly, to be frank with you, to have all of that like archive footage like from back in the day, as opposed to like even what like King Richard that movie did, which was like more narrative, this was a different angle on it because it was like actual footage from back in the day, which I thought um is like Michael Jordan Last Dance esque in that it's like this is something that like is like archival, you know what I'm saying? And something that people that will stand the test of time that people can look back on and get the quintessential Venus and Serena uh uh Richard Williams story. So I really like that. I learned more about, I never seen King Richard or anything. I'm 24. I am aware of Venus and Serena and I respected them, but I never knew the whole story about the dad, about them being from Compton, and about breaking the mold in tennis and all of that. Like, not in this level of detail. So it gave me, as a young person, a new appreciation for um, their story. So I feel like, and that's, mission accomplished. I feel like, as far as this film is concerned. So yeah, really well done. Good job.
So I just watched the Richard Williams story. I loved the film. I thought it was really powerful. I thought it was moving. I thought it was thoughtful. It paints a very good portrait of Richard Williams. It manages to capture just a really well-rounded depiction of the figure with great depth and complexity. Um, there are lots of different layers and elements going on in this film. Race, class, mastery, family. Explores all these different things. The interplay of past and present is something that I thought was really powerful in the film. The movie itself is very kinetic. It moves forward at a great pace and just continues to inform throughout. Um, it tells the story with great clarity, and I just think it really did a great job of exploring this issue from a lot of different angles. It's a very well-made film with a lot of depth, and I think it's very relevant to today. And great job, a great film.
This documentary is so incredibly fascinating and covers so much of the details of the careers and behind the scenes of the Williams sisters that I didn't know. And I also think that this is coming at such a perfect time because Serena just, played her last tournament. Um, what an incredible father! What an incredible! I think that just based off of the documentary and what we've learned, it sounds like the girls have obviously are talented on their own, but they're so fortunate to have had such a strong father who really instilled in them this like incredible work ethic, incredible sense of character and self and empowerment. And you can see that strength coming through when you watch them interviewed as children, the confidence that they have and how that's their strength, but also can, if they let it, work against them because other people feel threatened by that. And when they can't knock you for your talent because you are the best out there and you're better than them, then they'll come after something else. They will always find something, some way to tear you down. And I think, being a young Black woman in a sea of white competitors, of course you're going to face really ugly things and hear them and see them. And I feel like these girls were so well trained by their father for this world, for this world that they were entering, and all of the criticisms, even the way that the newscasters were speaking to them and trying to spin things. We don't know what happened behind the scenes, but they seem totally unbothered and totally unshaken by the whole thing. And like, wow, it was so cool, especially to see someone so young just having that like really solid sense of self and not letting anything rattle your cage. Really incredible and very inspiring to see. I'm so glad that I got to watch this. This was absolutely fascinating. And great job. I don't know a single person who, I don't know a single person who wouldn't find this intensely fascinating, whether you're a tennis fan or not. Incredible piece. Thank you.
This is regarding the documentary feature, Richard Williams' story. First, I just want to say that I, of course, know who this family is, but I don't know much about them. I don't know their history. I've just heard bits and pieces over the years. I don't really watch tennis. I don't really follow anything about tennis. So, to me, I've never watched the movie King Richard, so I really didn't know too much. And when I watched this, I was just fascinated by it. I was fascinated by this Richard, this dad who, he just saw this girl make a lot of money on tennis and had a dream. And not sure how I feel about hiding his wife's birth control, but he's so just nonchalant about it all, and how in the fact that he just believed so much that something was going to happen. I've always thought in life, when you just believe something to the core and you have so much faith and you just take those steps to make it happen because you know it's going to happen. That's one thing. But when you're dealing with other people in the equation and having to reach that goal with these people who, that's just incredible and fascinating. And I loved this whole story, and I love this documentary, and really technically everything's there. I don't even really have to mention that. I don't think it's so professionally done and all of it's so great. But to me, it's the content and the story, and I really would have loved to have seen the girls talk. I think they're in their early 40s now, so it would have been really nice to hear their side of the story a little bit at least, and their take on it and how they felt growing up with a dad having these high expectations. From the footage we saw, it looked like he was just very supportive and nurturing and a great father. But I also wanted to know if they ever felt pressured and didn't want to do it, or if it's something they just fell in love with from the get-go. Because to me, that's just crazy that this father had this dream and then just happened to have two girls who fell into that dream with him and fell in line with it and excelled like they did. Such amazing athletes. But I also see that they had such support around them, and just an amazing story. I just want to make sure here that I read everything. Again, I just really would have loved to hear more from the girls now as they've gotten their success and they're older, and I would have, just loved to hear their side of it a little bit. I think the mom maybe didn't want to fully be in this dream, but she is supportive of her children, and I would have loved to maybe hear from her too. But I thought it was really well done. I really liked the sequence of everything. It was very spelt out very well for me. I didn't really question much, and I'm fascinated by it and might start watching tennis a little bit more now. So good job to you guys. I know this is going to be a hit. It's going to be on all the platforms, and I'd like to see it in theaters too, actually. But I know it's going to do great, so good job and good luck.
Hi, this is my comments on the Line, the Richard Williams story. I loved everything about this documentary. I thought that as a young African American, anything about Venus and Serena Williams is incredibly important to me, and I thought that the documentary did an excellent job of towing the line between telling the story of Venus and Serena Williams in the context of Richard without sort of erasing their through line. I thought they were really beautifully blended together, and I think that also the interviews with Richard himself were really powerful, and I was unaware about his background in Shreveport, Louisiana, and about like the sharecropping and the cotton and all of those things added a really powerful context to their journey, and I thought that they did a really great job of combining that story and making it connected to the through line for the Williams sisters. Also, in the Indian Wells, that incident, I'd never really seen it framed in that way, and I was really, really shocked to see some of the racist undertone. I mean, not shocked, to be honest, not shocked, but really, it was really disheartening to see that in the context of his story and how far he had come, and how far the Williams sisters had come, to sort of see that incident sort of played out within the confines of their legacy. And so having that sort of narrative Easter egg of chronicling their return to that tournament was really powerful, and I think very smart. And just overall, I thought it was very clean, very professional. All of the different interviews all felt like they were working in service of Richard's his narrative and his life. And I thought it was really beautiful and really powerful.
Hi, so this is my commentary on the Line, the Richard Williams story, the feature documentary. Well, first of all, I think that this was an incredible portrayal of Richard Williams, and just an incredible documentary all around. I think all the aspects of traditional storytelling were prioritized and were done very well. The narrative, the technical side, the cinematography, the editing, the music, etc. All of those things were clearly prioritized in this documentary, and I think that made it overall a good documentary. So first of all, the story, I think they did an incredible job at profiling this incredible man, and all the sort of steps that he took to create the wonderful sisters that we know of, Venus and Serena. But I really do enjoy kind of them going through the good, the bad, and the ugly of what it took on the character of Richard Williams to and kind of display him of who we know him as today. I think they did well in using this, turning the larger story of tennis and the two sisters, the famous sisters, and narrowing it down to his profile, but then also exploring the themes of racism, classism, athleticism, and that world of the athletes and the athletic world, and sort of the intricacies that go along with it, especially for those who maybe don't know too much about either the sisters or the sport. I think they did really well in focusing in on that, and I think that's really important to do with documentaries, especially when you're dealing with a broad topic, like with this film. I really enjoyed the music. I think this is another example of them taking taking the themes that are being portrayed and like analyze and connecting it appropriately to everything else. So the music definitely connected with the themes and the subjects and the subject matter very well. I think it was really well picked out. I think the graphics were incredible. The titles were very well done as well, very clean and appropriate. And yeah, I think the editing style was amazing. The cinematography was very well thought out. Again, every single aspect really connected well with the themes. And yeah, I think the director did a very good job. This is an incredible documentary, and I think it should really be considered for festivals and many more. But yeah, very well done.